Okay, so we're doing a teardown of my Traxxas Rally VXL. Start off with getting the wheels out of the way. Once that's done, we're going to start working on the motor and ESC. That's most of the electronic stuff. Alright, so motor is done. Take that one screw out. Once the battery case is open, the ESC pops out. Not much room to work with, but once it's out, you should be able to pop out the motor. Do the receiver box. This had some issues with it at first. I tried to take the receiver out of the box and push that to the side. It wasn't work with me. Couldn't get the antenna out. Didn't feel like playing with it, so I just pulled the receiver off altogether and tossed that to the side for the time being. So another side note, I try to keep everything to the side. I have a little container. I pick up everything as I go. Make sure I don't lose any parts because you always either have leftover or not enough. Start off with the body mounts. These ones here are scratched off just so I could tell where they were before. Makes it easier to set everything up the way it was. Alright, push rods, get rid of those. Start working on the knuckles. First we're going to have to take the hex bolt out at the end, and within that there should be a drive pin. And from here, I don't know if you can see, but I broke some of my bearings. Been bashing this guy quite a bit, and some of those bearings took quite a hit. Shattered two of them actually. All in all, maybe $3 cost, not a big deal. It's taken everything I've had to throw at it so far. Scrambling up there trying to pick up the pieces. Figured I'd try to put that bearing back together, but it's non-salvageable. Alright, so the rest of these push rods, quite a bit of hardware. Time consuming more than anything else. Not very complicated. Tear down, very simple. Wasn't using any guides or any breakdown manuals. Makes it quite easy if you, like I said, have containers to put stuff in. Try to keep the same length screws together. You don't want to be pushing through a diff case with something that doesn't fit somewhere with a longer screw. Been done. It happens to all of us, but very avoidable. You always get carried away once you start working. You don't want to stop. You push through, and next thing you know, things aren't working. You got something that's binding somewhere, and a few extra seconds or a little bit more precaution would have saved a lot of teardowns and rebuild and teardowns again. Yeah, that's a pretty bad bearing there. Bits of bearing. So we're going to do the rockers. Did a two-piece jobby. Do the shocks as well. The motor mount, or not motor mount, but the shock mount there. That comes off. It's doesn't fit in the back or in the front, so you don't have to worry about mixing up parts. Everything is pretty easy to work on. Almost idiot proof. Go ahead and do the front shocks. Motor mount piece falls off. Again, sorry, I meant the shock mount. Rockers, push rods are down, they're out. Alright, that's the front body mount. Take that whole section off. You got screws at the top, 2 at the bottom, and 1 in the front. Once that's off, you have a little aluminum plate that holds the diffs together. Again, there's no way to mix them up. They're quite different from the front and back. Once that's out, the pins will slide out. Your lower arms will fall. Upper arms, I mean. Now here we have the skid plate. Once the skid plate's removed, you have 2-part pins, front and back. Once those are out, sorry about that, off camera a little bit, but there you go. Those are the bottom ones. And then the lower arms fall out. Yokes, we have a grub screw there, pull that out, they come out quite easy, and you're left with just the diff. Alright, the front same way, you got to take out the skid plates. Foam bumper is another extra piece, but again, quite simple. It also has that aluminum front, but everything pops out. Right, so for this here's the diff. You can take out these two grub screws, turn that over. We have the skid plate there. We have 4 screws. Diff comes out. Take those 4 screws out, and if you push the pin where the spur gear is down while you open the case, they should all stay. There we have the part lot.